Good morning, and we're back with a Fox News alert as ISIS continues to grow in the Middle East. We turn to Yemen now, the home of the latest U.S. intelligence failure. This week, the United States Embassy closing its doors and evacuating all staff after Houthi rebels took over the capital.
That move also compromises CIA operatives in the region. They've been tasked with tracking down al-Qaeda, but the White House's top counter-terror official admits this whole thing took the White House by surprise. Watch.
Houthi advances towards Sana'a took place, it simply became the case that they were unopposed in many cases. It's left us in a position now where, on relatively short notice, just over the past few months, the security situation deteriorated far more rapidly than we expected.
Now, at least 7 countries in total have closed their embassies now, including Great Britain and Germany, even Saudi Arabia.
Really, the way that the United States exited our embassy in Yemen raises a lot of really disturbing questions. And the White House all week has come under fire from reporters asking, well, wait a second, if it wasn't a hasty retreat, why exactly did the Marines at that embassy have to destroy their weapons? Not just their fixed weapons, but their small arms, their rifles, their handguns. They had to destroy them. And apparently, according to news reports, they were told they had to by the Houthi rebels, who said, we're not going to let you into the airport while you're armed. Can you imagine telling United States Marines what to do, and we have to comply?
And reports of them being behind their vehicles, too, with the keys still in the ignition and fleeing and having to get out of there. You don't think that was hasty?
But
Did
Tucker
they see that
and Anna, no, we've got it all under control. Remember when Jen Psaki was on the network earlier this week, she said, there's nothing hasty about this. We got it all under control. Listen.
Why was the evacuation from the embassy so hasty?
Well, first, it wasn't hasty. Just because everybody in Yemen didn't know what the plans were, it didn't mean the plans weren't in place for weeks. We've been planning for weeks a range of contingency options. You referenced the ships. Obviously, we worked with the Omanis on getting a plane. We always have a range of options we can take when we're talking about a high-threat post.
You can't have spokesmen who have no credibility whatsoever, and she falls into that category. For example, the White House and the State Department claimed that the Marines couldn't take their weapons with them because the airline wouldn't allow it. Then they conceded, well, it's a charter flight, and actually Marines bring their weapons on charter flights all the time. They're Marines. They carry weapons. They lied about it because they want to obscure the truth, which was we were forced out of there at high speed, under threat, and that's embarrassing.
So who do you point the finger at? Is it an intelligence failure? Ambassador John Bolton was on the channel last night. He says absolutely not. This is the Obama administration ignoring who our enemy is, not being able to name who they are, and that we've seen this problem play out time and time again.
How many times do we have to go through this? It's happened, obviously, in Syria and Iraq. It's happened in Libya. Now it's happened in Yemen. It happened earlier in Somalia. It's not like this is suddenly something that we've never seen before. So I think that makes it more inexcusable. And it goes to the point that, that if the White House, if the State Department, if the Pentagon, if all of the agencies of the U.S. national security apparatus are blind to what's happening, you have to ask yourself why. They're not suppressing information from the intelligence community. They're suppressing reality because their policy leaders are saying Yemen's a success.
We should point out that the government of Yemen was one of the only pro-American governments in the region, and yet we stood by and allowed it to be toppled by people who hate us.
So let's ask the question this morning. Do you think our role in Yemen has been a success? Go to our Facebook page this morning and answer it. That's what the leaders are saying. FF Weekend on Facebook. But we've got some.
As recently as September, the president was saying that this was a model of American success.
Right. Would you go to Yemen? Would you buy a timeshare in Yemen this hour? FF Weekend is where you can go. All right.